Want to select cells without touching your mouse? In this video, I will show you one simple keyboard shortcut that every Excel beginner should know, that is Shift plus arrow keys. Hello everyone, welcome back to MBA Beginner Excel course. In today's video, we will learn about selecting cells using the keyboard, that is Shift plus arrow keys. Before proceeding, let me remind you, if you missed any of our previous videos on Excel, first watch those videos as all these videos are interlinked. You can simply click on I icon above, or you can directly go to the playlist section to find all the relevant videos there. If you want to master in Excel, I will suggest you to please note down all the important points, especially the formulas, so that it will be easy for you when you will revise. So let's come back to today's topic, which is selecting multiple cells using the keyboard, that is Shift plus arrow keys. So let's get started. This method is faster and is used by almost every Excel professional. So let's learn how to select multiple cells using this simple shortcut, that is Shift plus arrow keys. Let's say we want to select A1. Let's say we want to select A1 and A2 together. Right, so I am going to click on A1 and I'm going to hold Shift plus down arrow key. So right, Excel will select both, that is A1 and A2 cell. Keep pressing down. For example, if I want to select more cells, not only A1 and A2, I want to select more cells, then I will hold Shift again and I will click on for example down key arrow key, and Excel will select as many cells as I want. For example, A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5, etc. Now coming back to A1 and A2, right, Shift and down arrow key. You can see dark thick border around A1 and A2 together. Right, here is the border you can see. And you can see that cell A1 is the active cell because of the color difference, right? It is in white and it is in lighter blue or grayish color, right? So here you can see that cell A1 is the active cell because of the color differences shown in between A1 and A2. Also you can see that the content of cell A1 is in the formula bar, right? Here is the formula bar, right? Here it is written as Rahul, that is in the cell A1. So A1 is the active cell and A2 is the end cell, right? It may change, but in this scenario which we are doing currently, here A1 is the active cell and A2 is the end cell. So let's try now to expand our cells to A3. How we have to click? How we have to do it? By holding Shift plus down arrow key, by pressing down arrow key again. Now A3 is also selected with A1 and A2. And you can see the thick border now expanding. So again, A1 is the active cell, but here now A3 is the end cell, right? How? A3 because of the color difference, and second, A1 is in the formula bar, that means it is the active cell, right? But here the end cell is not A2, here the end cell is now A3, that is Karthik. Same way, if I again hold Shift and click on down arrow key, again now it will be expanded to A4, right? Here A1 again is the active cell, but here the end cell is A4. This is the great method to select one cell at a time or one row of cells. Please remember this point as it is most important. If this point gets clear to you, this is the great method to select one cell at a time or one rows, right? This is the row, right? One rows, this is the column, sorry, one rows at a time and or one column of cells at a time, right? Currently we are selecting column, right? Now when I try to use Shift plus arrow up, what will happen? Let's click Shift plus arrow up. It gets deselected, right? What gets deselected? A4 gets deselected. Also remember, any operation that I will do to all the cells that I have selected, right, uh, will be applied to all of these. Like for example, let's suppose if I will click on delete, so it will get applied to all of them. So now that I have selected A1, A2 and A3. Now if I press delete key, right, which I told you earlier, I actually delete all these cells together at the same time, and this is where selection of multiple cells become very effective and efficient for you to do operations effectively and quickly. So now I am going to use Control plus Z shortcut to undo what I did, because I don't want to really delete the data in these cells. Now let's continue with the selecting more cells. For example, let's suppose I am at let's suppose for example okay, let's suppose for example I want to select laptops, like for example what these employees are using, right? So let's suppose I want to know which laptops these three employees are using. I will simply hold shift plus right arrow, right? So now six cells will get automatically selected. Now if I press shift plus right arrow again, let's suppose I am holding shift plus right arrow, now their residence will also get selected. So firstly there were three cells selected, then six, and now nine, right? Multiple cells are getting selected. So if I press shift plus left arrow key, right, I will hold shift and will press left arrow key, what will happen? A residence portion here gets deselected. That means any operation done will get applied to now these six cells only, that is A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, because only these six cells are now selected, and A1 is the active cell because it is in the formula bar, and B3 is the end cell. Also note down, when I select multiple cells here by using shift plus arrow key operations, even if I remove my finger from the shift key, these cells will still be selected. You don't have to keep pressing the shift key for them to remain selected. However, if I want to add or remove some cells, then I need to use the shift plus arrow keys. So for us to understand how this is actually working, let's just select, for example, let's select cell B3, right? And now I am going to use shift, right? I will hold shift plus right arrow key, which selects the one cell to the right, that is C3. Now I press shift plus, let's suppose I will hold shift and will press shift down arrow key, right? Now cell B4 and C4 gets automatically selected. So in this selection, B3 is the active cell, and which you can also see, like for example by looking at the formula bar and at the color difference, and also cell C4 is the end cell. Simply left and right arrows will actually be selecting or deselecting columns, right? This is the also important point, please note it down. Simply left and right arrows will actually be selecting or deselecting columns of cells, while as up and down arrow keys will be selecting or deselecting rows of cells. Before concluding, let's try to understand benefits of using shift plus arrow keys. It helps to select cells quickly, it works without using the mouse, it saves our time, and it improves your Excel speed. So what we learned is selecting multiple cells with the keyboard is a simple skill, right? So we learned that selecting multiple cells with the keyboard is a simple skill, but it can make your work much faster. Practice this shortcut every day and it will help you, and it will soon become a habit, right? And in this video we will learn another in the next video we will learn another useful Excel shortcut that will improve your productivity. Thank you for watching. If you find this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe to our MBA Beginner YouTube channel. See you in the next video. Thank you. Stay blessed.